Ladies and gentlemen, so the Supreme Court heard oral arguments today from Donald Trump's team and from Colorado. Let's just say it was very humiliating to Colorado and the attorneys that they sent in. They got spanked. My prediction is they're going to vote 9-0 in Trump's favor. And we're about to go through a headline, listen to some of the recordings of the hearing. It's going to make you happy. But first, really quickly, I want to take a moment to thank the sponsor of today's video, and that is Midas Gold Group. They are a second-generation, veteran, family-owned gold, silver, and precious metals IRA firm. They protect your money from Bidenomics, and that is Biden inflation, high gas prices, collapse of the dollar, and bank runs. They are backed by Sebastian Gorka himself, with customers in all 50 states, Canada, and worldwide. Contact them today at MidasGoldGroup.com or call them at 480-360-3000. Mention Vlad from American News Network. Links down below in the description. They'll take care of you. Now, Neil Gorsuch humiliates Colorado's lawyer on Trump's argument in SCOTUS. So there were no, you couldn't watch it live, but you were able to listen in live. And I listened from the very beginning to the end. I think it was 2 hours and 20 minutes. And Trending Politics News did a great job. They just cut out a couple of the most important moments, and we're going to listen to them.
That this court has held. You're not contesting this or asking us to revisit that decision in Thornton or term limits or whatever you want to call it, that it has to come from some federal constitutional authority.
No, we are not, Your Honor.
Okay. And here we're not talking about the qualifications clause, right? Nobody's talking about whether he's 35 years old or natural born, whatever, right? Not at issue, okay? We're talking about something under the 14th Amendment and Section 3. So that's where you have to find your authority, right?
We find our authority in Article 2, in states' plenary power to run their election.
Federal election, but this is for a federal office. It has to come from the Constitution, and you're seeking to enforce Section 3.
We're suggesting that in their broad power to determine them, to select presidential electors in any manner they see fit, they can take account of Section 3 and apply Section 3.
Could they do it without Section 3? Could they disqualify somebody for, on whatever basis they wanted outside of the qualifications clause?
That would run into term limits,
I would think so, right? So it has to come back to Section 3. And if that's true, how does that work, given that Section 3 speaks about holding office, not who may run for office? It was a point Mr. Mitchell was making earlier, and I just wanted to give you a chance to respond to it, because it seems to me that you're asking to enforce in an election context a provision of the Constitution that speaks to holding office. So it's different than the qualifications clause, which is all about who can run and then serve. Yeah.
I don't know that it is different. Okay. Other qualifications for office similarly talk about eligibility for the office. There's nothing unconstitutional about a 30-year-old trying to get on the ballot.
Except for this disability can be removed, right, under Section 3. That's what's different about it. So thoughts on that?
So even right there, the guy that is arguing on behalf of Colorado admits that they can't remove him on anything else. And even this right here, Section 3 that they're using, is not clear to this case and has never been done before. But it goes deeper. They try to use constitutional law that is directed only for the state to decide state elections. They want to use state constitutional law on a federal election. Also, get spanked.
He had the opportunity to call witnesses remotely. He didn't use all of his time at trial. There was ample process here, and this is how ballot access determinations in election cases are decided all the time.
Okay. Second question. Some of the rhetoric of your position, I don't think it is your position, but some of the rhetoric of your position seems to suggest unless the states can do this, no one can prevent insurrectionists from holding federal office. But obviously, Congress has enacted statutes, including one still in effect. Section 2383 of Title 18 prohibits insurrection. It's a federal criminal statute. And if you're convicted of that, you are, it says, shall be disqualified from holding any office. And so there is a federal statute on the books, but President Trump has not been charged with that. So what are we to make of that?
Two things, Your Honor. Section 2383 was initially enacted about 6.
So even there, Brett Kavanaugh says something you're talking about is insurrection. But not only Trump, but nobody. So whenever you hear the legacy media say insurrectionists, there was a January 6th insurrection, they're lying. Nobody was charged with an insurrection. Nobody was found guilty of it. Do you understand? Not only was nobody found guilty of an insurrection, nobody was charged with an actual insurrection. You know why? Because an insurrection is trying to overthrow a sitting president. On January 6th of 2021, Donald J. Trump was the sitting president. Was he leading an insurrection against himself? Make it make sense, far left extremists. Make it make sense.
Why? On what theory? Because the Section 3 speaks about disqualification from holding office. You say he is disqualified from holding office from the moment it happens.
Correct, but nevertheless,
so it operates. You say that there's no legislation necessary. I thought that was the whole theory of your case, and no procedure necessary. It happens automatically.
well, certainly you need a procedure in order to have any remedy to enforce the disqualification, which is
that's a whole separate question. That's the de facto doctrine. It doesn't work here. Okay, put that aside. He's disqualified from the moment, self-executing, done. And I would think that a person who would receive a direction from that person, the president, former president, in your view, would be free to act as he or she wishes without regard to that individual.
I don't think so, because I think, again, the de facto officer doctrine would nevertheless come into play to say this is
no de facto. That doesn't work, Mr. Murray, because de facto officer is to ratify the conduct that's done afterwards and insulate it from judicial review. Put that aside. I'm not going to say it again. Put it aside. Okay. I think Justice Alito is asking a very different question, a more pointed one, and more difficult one for you. I understand, but I think it deserves an answer. On your theory, would anything compel a lower official to obey an order from, in your view, the former president?
I'm imagining a situation where, for example, a former president was, a president was elected and they were 25 and they were ineligible to hold office, but nevertheless they were put into that office.
No, we're talking about Section 3. Please don't change the hypothetical, okay? Please don't change the hypothetical. I know I like doing it too, but please don't do it, okay?
Well, the point I'm trying to make is
he's disqualified from the moment he committed an.
See, ladies and gentlemen, even right there, they're saying, when was the insurrection committed? According to the Constitution, the moment the insurrection was committed, that's it, can't serve. When was the insurrection committed? What specific moment? When did he give the command? Nothing. Well, hypothetically speaking, and even the judge is like, stop it with the hypotheticals. We need facts. But guess what? Democrats and far-left extremists and rhinos don't like facts. They don't get along with facts. Apparently, your biology can say you're a boy, and that's a biological, scientific fact. On one hand, they will scream, trust the science. On the other hand, they'll say, but that's not what I feel like. So my prediction, 9-0, Trump on the ballot. Well, ladies and gentlemen, what do I know? I just do commentary. Make sure to subscribe, Leave a comment. Let me know, what do you think the outcome is going to be? Give this video a thumbs up and share this video with a friend or two. Trump 2024 or sooner.